Welcome to this week's masterclass with Bill Pipes in the house. Super excited to have you guys here. I say let's just get going and see where Bill takes us today. Hopefully you guys are
Totally.
excited. Um, I just invite all of you to just like step a little bit. Obviously, Bill's going to bring the energy, but just be excited if you will. I know that some of us just, like we live in this funk for some reason, and we don't have the excitement that we all need to have. And so hopefully you guys have a better zest for life. And obviously we're excited to be able to have Bill here every other week, show us the way. So Bill, take it away.
Dude, first of all, thank you, Nazar. I'm really excited to have this. I guess we call it a partnership with Five now at this point, where I get to come in every other week, and Nazar was like, "Dude, can we do this every week?" And I'm like, "No, they'll get sick of me." Like legitimately, if you guys heard me every single week, I'm gonna sound like your broker. You know what I mean? Like where it's like every week it's the same. Here we go. So, but every 2 weeks, I'm going to have the chance to be able to pour into you guys and really bring a couple of things that my intent is. Today is going to be an evergreen topic, right? So there's two different types of topics that we're going to be working on that I'm going to be bringing you guys. One's evergreen, which means that, Andrew, no matter what time it is, no matter where it is in the market, no matter what's going on, the shit works. Does that make sense? Okay. It's the same in 1990 as 2000, 2010, et cetera, right? Or 2024. But there'll be other topics that I'm going to bring in as we begin to work. And I'm really looking at it, Nazar, from a standpoint and just so that you guys know and what to expect, right? One time per month, it's going to be evergreen. The other time, it's going to be like something that is happening that we need to be addressing right now that is right in front of the tire of the bike. I think that's a great little cadence for us. I do want to say something really quick. Obviously, this week, we've got, what are we, 11 or 12 days, 13 days away from the election, right, guys? I coach some of the best teams across North America, which is such a privilege and such an honor. And so I get a lot of intel on what's going on. And I will say this, minus the Phoenix market, do we have any Phoenix agents right now? Any agents in Phoenix? Minus the Phoenix market, I am definitively seeing a little slowdown, which is historically based on the election. You know what I mean, guys? And there's no denying, that the election is going to have an impact. The leading up to the election always has an impact on the real estate market. How many of you guys can recognize that? If you go back and you look, and how many of you have felt it, by the way? How many of you guys have ultimately felt it as well too? Cool. And Zach, here's the cool thing. It's situational, not market driven. And I think it's really important that you guys understand that, because you may feel that constriction, Anne, of the market, and you got to know that that's going to open back up in November. Okay. Even with rates being where they are. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that before we get into our topic. I always like to take probably about 3 or 4 minutes at the beginning of every single call. I am a data driven salesperson. What I will be teaching you guys over the course of the time that we're this next year is how to educate yourself, to be able to use data, to be able to move people forward elegantly, right? And that's the style of selling that has evolved that I teach. It's called education-based data-driven selling. So at the beginning of every single call, I do want to take a couple of minutes and just sort of unpack what the hell's gone on for the last 2 weeks. Okay. Number one, this market will open back up. Okay. We're going to get through the election. And I know I'm not going to be political here, but I will say this, it really doesn't, I know we have our own political leanings and who we want and what social issues are important to us and economic issues. But listen carefully what I'm going to say to you. It really doesn't matter who gets elected. The real estate market is going to be strong in 2025. And I need you guys to understand that. Okay. So it obviously matters to us on our social issues on who gets elected. But from a real estate perspective, the market is poised and primed to be able to have 2025 guys really look, it probably is not going to be a 2020, 2021 market, but it's going to smell, look, and feel a lot like it. Does that make sense? Yes or no? Okay. Now, everyone's been coming to me, Rob, and they've been saying, Pipes, bro, like, what in the hell is going on with interest rates? Okay. How many of you guys have been sitting back going, holy shit? Like, guys, 81 basis points in 30 days. It's the largest gain in interest rates that I think we've ever seen in the modern market. And so why has that happened? Like anyone want to take a stab really quick? And like I said, I don't want to eat up a bunch of time. I only have 1 more minute to be able to unpack this, but the hell is that happening? What's going on? Yeah, Kevin, please.
They don't expect rates to come down anymore.
Well, actually, they do. Like if you go to the CME, and I'll unpack that on a different call, but there still is a projection that rates will be coming down. In fact, there's a 25 basis point cut that's going to take place. It's a 92% chance, according to the Fed futures, that the Fed will cut rates on November the 7th. But here's what's happened, guys. Jobs reports and inflation numbers have actually come in hotter than expected. Okay. And that's what's driving it. By the way, hey, Kristen, you guys need it's mandatory that you are listening to Logan Motoshami and Housing Wire every single day. I would write down Housing Wire daily, McSolomon, right? Housing Wire daily, right? Um, get it, download it. It's in the gosh, what do we call it? It's the podcast, right? It's a podcast that they do. A lot of the shit that they do, guys, inside of there is more industry based. But anytime that you see Logan Motoshami, right, you want to listen to that. He is our, like, no joke, guys. He is our compass. Does that make sense? He is a voice of reason. He is the lighthouse right now in terms of information that is valuable. And what we got, guys, is we got a really hot, very hot jobs report. Okay. However, here's what I'm telling everyone, Kim. Don't pay attention to interest rates until November the 11th. And I want you to write that down. Sarah, don't even put any attention towards it. And I know we need to because of buyers and sellers and the conversations that they're having. But literally, guys, what I'm coaching and training people to do is to tell people we cannot get a good beat on interest rates until the 11th. Why? Well, because does anyone believe that those numbers could be inflated to be able to have an impact on the election at all? Yes or no? The answer is yes. And Joanne or Joan, here's how we know. The minute that they released the jobs report a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Biden, who we hadn't seen in quite some time, came out and did a press release conference about the state and the robustness of the economy. And if you look back, my friends, at what they've done with job reports, and please understand, this is not me knocking on the existing executive branch. It's just like, let's pay attention to what's going on. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. And if you haven't seen someone in 3 months, and then all of a sudden here he comes out or she comes out and they're talking about how great the economy is on the heels of a jobs report, they're going to revise those numbers. Those job report numbers are going to come down, and it's going to be post-election. So you've got a couple of things that are going to happen. And this is why I'm saying don't even like give a projection of what's going to happen in interest rates until November the 11th, because we need to get through the election, right? And have that uncertainty out of the way. Number two, we need to have the Fed meeting on November the 7th. And then number three, we need to see 48 to 72 hours worth of settling to see how the markets respond. On November the 11th, that's when that all occurs. Now, here's the good news. We're going to go today as more of an evergreen call, minus this conversation. I'm going to give you the exact strategy that I want you guys to use on the November the 11th, okay? On how to approach your leads, your buyers, your sellers, exactly what it is that you need to do on our next call. Does that sound good, guys? Okay. So just know that's coming, right? And I'll give you exactly step-by-step process for that, right? To be able to actually move them forward. And we'll have enough data at that point to be able to make a decision. So, it's interesting, guys. So, by the way, any questions around that? Any questions around that? Nope. Okay. On that revision, by the way, how do I know they're going to revise it? Because they always do. They have this entire year. They did an 850,000 jobs report revision back at the beginning of this year, which is about 80,000 jobs, which is about how much they were over this last report, by the way. You start to see stuff line up when you track and measure this stuff, and you go, it's sort of like The Matrix. Does anyone remember the original movie, The Matrix? How many of you guys remember that? Where finally Neo gets his shit together and he's like, no, right? Grabs the bullet and throws it. When you start to track and measure this stuff, and you start to listen and you start to look at the data, you become Neo, right? You can grab the bullet and you can see through the noise and begin to see what's really happening behind the scenes. My goal is over the course of these next 90 days to turn you into Neo when it comes to data. Does that sound good, guys? Where you're just like, oh, dude. And that raises your authority score, guys, with your buyers and your sellers when you're talking to them. And you're going to love how we do that. But today I want to go evergreen, man. Okay. I want to go evergreen. And I want to talk to you about what I have noticed is one of the number one challenges that everyone comes to. But before we do that, let me pull this up. When did that movie come out, Zach? That movie came out like, bro, I'm gonna date myself. I think it was like 94, was it? Like 94, 95, 96, 90, 2000, somewhere around there,
I
right?
was
So
born in '99, so
okay, yeah, somewhere around there, right? So I want to pull this up, guys. I'm not going to do the pretty PowerPoint. We're going to keep keep it in this mode. I won't go straight. I'll keep it in presenter mode. What I want you guys to understand, Zach, and all I can see is Zach, Nazar, and Kevin. By the way, Nazar is on here someplace, right? Because we added 1 million when we were working together, which was super rad. Um, there have been 43 now millionaires. Like we had our 43rd that actually just passed over the mark. That we have been able to actually, Zach, get across that level in the last probably 6 to 8 years. We got 10, Zach and Kevin, that are crossing this year. It's pretty rad, right? Why? Because we got the system figured out. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, we know what to do. We know how to get there. And my goal for every single agent inside of Five. Can you imagine being the only real estate brokerage in the world where everyone is seven-figure earners, Nazar? Like, think about that. You want to talk about like the best of the best? And that's my vision. So I'm going to be pushing, relating to you, coaching you, stepping into that role of really pushing you guys to be able to do that. And I want you to understand today, by the way, guys, this is the foundation. And I want you to write this down. Just draw this. I've given this to you guys before, but you'll hear it again and again and see it again and again, right? It is the fundamental equation. It is like E equals MC squared, Kevin. Does that make sense? It's one that you see the shit over and over again, but it's like, okay, cool. This is the foundation. This is the foundation. This is the foundation. So all great businesses, my friends, and I'm actually going to scroll. So I'm not just talking to Zach and Nazar, and there we go. I'll talk to Ann, Casey, Justin, and Joan and Doug. You guys are in my crosshairs right now. There we go. All great businesses that scale, grow, and continue to expand are consistently focusing on these three things. So draw this. I want you to keep it. I want you to put it someplace. I want you to look at it. Do you need to be skilled in order to be able to actually grow your business? And the answer is yes. And skills are nothing more than conversations. They are dialogues. They are techniques to connect with people and move them forward. There are strategies. Strategies are people, processes, and systems. People, processes, and systems that create efficiency and effectiveness. See, Joan, if I have a strategy on my past clients in Sphere, right, it makes it really easy for me to be able to scale that up, become more efficient, drive more productivity out of it, right? But most agents don't run in a strategic manner. They just do it haphazard. Today, though, what we're going to talk about, Casey, is standards, okay? And I want you to write the definition, my definition of standards. Standards, write down, please, are disciplines, rituals, and routines. Justin, they're disciplines, rituals, and routines, Matt, that are, Kristen, non-negotiable, and they're based upon my goal. They're non-negotiable, and they're based upon my goal. Now, check this out. Ready, Kim? Is 2025 upon us, yes or no? Yeah. In fact, is it safe to say that the work that we do right now is basically going to show up in January or February of next year, guys? Like with the leads that we generate, the listings that we take, 30, 60, 90-day window to be able to get them sold, to be able to get them closed. So here's what I want you to write down. I have to start being the agent and doing the things to align with my income for next year. I need to start being the person that aligns with my income and doing the things. One of the biggest mistakes, Andrew, that I notice, brother, is that agents set bigger goals, Chris, for the next year, and they come at it with the same bullshit habits that they had in the previous year. How many of you guys have ever experienced that before or seen someone that does that, right? Where they don't make the change. They say, I'm going to do more of the same. And then is it Sardinia? Yeah. Okay, cool. Sardinia. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing it right. Right. And then what you'll notice is you will never out earn your standards. And I want you to write that down. that you will never out earn your standards. Your standards will dictate the income, even more so, Lisa, than your skills, even more so than your strategies, your disciplines, your rituals, your ability to be able to execute. So today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most important standards. Now there are three standards, three key standards that I work with every single coaching client on, okay? And I want you to write this down. There's the standard of time, which we're going to talk about today. Hannah, there's the standard of your mind, of the mental state that you operate inside of, right? The disciplines, rituals, and routines of what you're doing for your personal psychology. And then there's the standards of your energy, of maintaining a high level of energy. I have yet, Hannah, to meet someone who makes a boatload of cash and sells a shit ton of real estate, Emily, that does not. What's up, Robert Mack? Baby, good to see you, right? That does not have an abundance of energy. Robert's a perfect example of this. Every time I see Robert, okay, first of all, could Robert Mack be a character in a Woody Allen movie? Would he be just like the perfect Woody Allen character? I think he would, right? But every time I see Robert, he is just like alive, excited, and full of energy. And the money flows to the energy. Do you guys get that? Okay. So there's a standard that top producers, the elite, actually have from the energy. But we're going to talk specifically today about time. Now, here's my question to you. What does Mother Teresa, this almost sounds like a joke, Mac. What does Mother Teresa, Elon Musk, Gandhi, and Donald Trump all have in common? Mother Teresa, anyone, unmute yourself. I want to hear from you. I'm actually going to stop the screen.
Same amount of time in the day.
Who said that?
Farnham, Vegas.
Oh, hold on one second. I can't see you because you're on the top screen. And there we go.
I'll keep talking. So
there you go, Farnham. I got you, baby. So yeah, here's the crazy thing. Every single person gets this. I call it the 1440 paradigm. And I want you to write that down. Every single person gets 1440 minutes in a day. Hey, Zach, Mother Teresa didn't get more time. Yeah, like Elon Musk doesn't get more time. Steve Jobs didn't get more time. Zach rolls his eyes. He didn't get more time. He doesn't get more time than you. He gets the same damn amount, right? But see, the difference is what makes them extraordinary is this. And it's very important that you write this down, okay? Write down, I do not have a time management challenge. I have a choice management challenge. See, everyone says, man, because if I look at Nazar, if I look at Robert, if I look at some of the top producers, Brian Olivard, like I could just go, and ADC, Andrew Dane Carter, Farnham that's on this call, man. The difference is not that they manage their time better, Kevin. The difference is they make different, better choices with the time that they have. Does that make total sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. So I want you to get out of this game, Zach, of managing time, and I want you to move into managing choices. Now, that's an easy conversation to have. Now, let me stop this really quick, okay? So I can see you guys. Maybe you've heard this before, maybe you haven't. Here's the interesting thing, is I heard this and I said, well, that's awesome, okay? So how do I make better choices? Isn't that the natural question that you would ask? Well, how do these top elite producers in the world, in any industry, how do they make better choices? The first step is this. Write down, recognize what you are worth per hour. Recognize what your time value is per hour. Any of you guys ever worked with an attorney before? Had the wonderful opportunity? I've told my kids, Nazar, this, okay? I said, even more important than the person you marry, which may not be the right coaching, is I told them the two most important people in your life are your attorney and your accountant, right? So I said, because your attorney and your accountant's going to be there for your entire life. You don't know if the person you marry is, and the attorney can help you out with that. So maybe that's bad coaching for them, but it's the coaching that I gave them, right? So right? But does an attorney look at, like when you work with an attorney, how do they look at their time?
By the hour.
But not even by the hour. It's by 15 minutes increments. You get charged every 15 minutes. When I'm talking to my attorney, I'm like, make this quick, let's go. Like, he'll start bullshitting with me on other stuff. I'm like, no. We are not doing that because I know that shit's running. That clock's running. Does that make sense? Okay. And here's the challenge in real estate. We don't look at it that way. We look at our time is unlimited, right? We look at it, we get it done, we don't get it done. Okay, great. We'll work till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. No, what we're going to shift over to is this. And I'm going to give you an exercise. I'm going to have you do it. And then we're going to start talking about 4 rituals. Okay, 4 rituals. This is an awareness that you need to have. And then I'm going to give you the 4 rituals to be able to actually support it. Shit, man, we're running out of time. Okay, so this is your first step. Exercise right here. We're going to determine today, Zach, what your time is worth. And I want you guys to do this exercise. In Sardinia, I want you to do it based upon, Matt, your goal for next year, not what you're doing this year. I want every one of you to write down, what is your goal for income next year? Well, coach, I don't know it yet. Well, shame on you because you need to be able to have clarity around that because you're working towards it already, whether you realize it or not. So all of you guys write down what your goal is for income for this year. Do you got it? Or next year, excuse me, for 2025. Okay, cool.
If you want to make $1 million, that's $481 an hour.
That's exactly it. Okay. Like if you want to make $1 million, $481, $482, $483 an hour, you're going to divide whatever your goal is by 2,080. 2,080 is how many working hours there are at a 40-hour work week. Okay. Well, coach, I work more than that. I get it, but we're going to look at this as if it was a corporate job that you actually had to be able to start to really align your actions, your activities around that. Do all of you guys have a number right now? Yes or no? So take your total goal for next year, divide it by 2080. You guys willing to actually have transparency? Put it in the chat. Put that shit in the chat. Put it in the chat. I want to see it. If you would, please. 721, Matt. I love it, brother. See the rest of you guys. 576, Kevin. Dude, we got some ballers. Nights. RMAC 961. Let's go, baby. Robert, I remember when you were earning $300,000 a year. I remember when we first started working together. That's so amazing, man. That makes me so happy. The rest of you guys, your keyboards must be stuck. You must have spilled some Coca-Cola on it and it not working. So there we go. Beautiful. Now, here's the big question for you. If I followed you around, okay? Because remember, time is a state of mind. Does that make sense, guys? It's a relationship that you have to choices. If I followed you around for 5 days, would I find shit that did not align with that number that you were doing? Yes or no? At Kim, 100%. Okay. And so I want you guys to recognize something. I want you to please write this down. Recognize the first step to transforming anything is awareness. You want to transform your weight? Stand naked in the mirror and look at yourself. You'll get really aware really quick. Or do you know, like, dude, Nazar, down officially, Robert, right now, I was 190. I'm holding at 193. I'm going to 189. I am down right now like 22 pounds. Do you know what caused that transformation? No, Danny, don't clap for me. I was a fat ass, right? So you didn't clap for me when I was fat. Don't clap for me when I'm losing the weight, right? I appreciate it though. Yeah. You know what it was? I saw a video of me in August and I went, oh man, they say that a camera adds 5 pounds. How many freaking cameras are on me right now, right? I was like, oh no. And I said, I got to change. Awareness. So the first step that I'm going to ask you guys to do is to really start to look at, as you're committing to actions and activities, is this worth my dollar per hour? Does that make sense, guys? You've got to get in the habit of asking yourself, Zach, is this worth it? Right? And if not, then you have the 3Ds. 3Ds. D number 1, delegate it to somebody else. Coach, I don't have someone to delegate it to. Okay. Do you need to hire someone? Do you need to find someone? Do you need to train someone? Okay. Like literally, for if you're going to go to seven figures, and remember, guys, I'm relating to every single one of you as if you're seven figures, and if you're already Matt, Robert, the rest of you guys at seven figures, that we're adding seven figures more. Does that make sense, guys? That we're adding seven figures more. That's the game, right? So
Bill, if I can chime in real quick. Here's one thing that I think that as from the real estate side of it, right? Um, the limiting belief that I may have is, gosh, I can't afford to hire anybody. But here's the thing, if you're saying, hey, you're worth $300 an hour or $400 an hour, whatever that number is for you, then think about like, can you see yourself making that money? And if you can, you can't do it without help. You can't do it
can't.
without leverage.
No way.
And either you're going to be all in and do what you need to do to be able to, acknowledge that you can hire someone at $25 an hour so that then it can free up your time to be able to make $400 an hour, or you're going to be doing a $25 an hour job.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to even be $25 an hour. It can be $9 an hour through a VA company.
I was just going to say that they're like, in today's world, there's no excuse for you not to have an assistant, guys, in some way, shape, form, or another.
And
Does that
Bill,
make sense?
one more thing on that. No assistant charges a full salary a year in advance either.
That's right. That's right. You're not coming out of pocket. And whether it be Sphere Rocket or all of these other companies that are out there, or you finding your own VA, there is no excuse. I mean, look at it, guys. Okay, I'm going to pay a VA $6 an hour. I'm going to get them 20 hours a week. That's 120. You're going to tell me you can't come up with $480 per month in order to be able to have someone be able to take some of the shit off your plate? That's thinking too small, my friends. You know what I mean? Okay. Watch. Don't go to Starbucks and get your maca flocka chaka. Make your own coffee, right? You know what I mean? And get yourself a freaking assistant so that you can actually begin to actually put more time, energy, and effort into the money making activities. Okay. Like legit. Hey, Nazar, I hope it's okay that I'm just like, myself and call you guys out on your bullshit, right? Because there literally is no excuse for you not to have support in the business now with virtual assistants. Okay. Right. And dude, guys, I'd love to tell you I'm like some golden child and I like get this shit and I do it right away. But I'll give you like a 1 minute conversation, a story on this. I'll show you guys really quick. This is my hourly right now. This is what I'm going for. I keep this up. Can you guys see this? Right? This is printed. It's in my house. It's in 3 different areas, Matt. You know what I mean? Like I keep this up to remind me like what my time is worth. I'm going for $2,403 per hour based upon our revenue goals for the company, right? And at 2,403, there's certain things that I can't do. When I got divorced, guys, Matt, I said, dude, I'm going to prove this shit. I'm going to do my own laundry. I'm going to do the kids' laundry. I'm going to actually be that dad. I'm going to own all this shit. How many of you guys have ever done something like that in your business or personally where you're just like, like it's a prove it moment? Well, about a couple months went by, I was proving it. And then I'm sitting there and I was having this conversation with a client. And then I was sitting there going from like moving the laundry from the washing machine to the dryer, washing machine to the dryer. And I'm like, I am so full of shit. You're telling people to actually not do the shit that's actually not per hour, whatever. And you're doing laundry. You're the most expensive laundromat on the fucking planet, coach. Like, what is wrong with you, man? And so I called and I said, as a friend at the time, I said, hey, do you have anyone? She's Brazilian. I said, do you have anyone in the Brazilian community that needs a little bit of work that could do laundry? And she said, yes, I'm going to give you to Talitha. I called Talitha. Talitha said, yeah, Bill, I can do your laundry. It's $40 an hour. Guess what I did, Kevin? No, I was a dumbass. I said, $40 an hour for laundry? Have you lost your mind? You're out of your mind, dude. I'm not going to pay $40 an hour for laundry. 2 weeks go by, Joan. I'm still doing the laundry. I'm like, okay, I surrender, right? And now, guys, I got to tell you, okay, does it open up time? Yes, because for 8 hours on the weekend, I was doing the kids' laundry. I was putting shit away. I was trying to beg them to hang their shit up after I did the laundry. Like, it's bananas, right? And what I got to, Sardinia, was this. If I'm doing laundry and I can pay $40 an hour and I'm worth 2,403 is how I have to relate to myself and my time. That means every hour that I'm doing laundry, I'm losing about $2,380 per hour. What the hell? That means I'm losing $16,000 per week because I'm doing laundry. I'm a dumbass. You start to relate to your time at that point. It makes it very simple to make better decisions. Does that make sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. So the first D is we delegate it. The second D is we delete it. Hello, social media, Netflix. There's certain stuff that just needs to be deleted. I love my app Opal, OPAL, for social media because it blocks me from social media based upon what it is that I set the times for. OPAL. It's one of the best apps. It is hands down my least favorite, most favorite app. Least favorite because it's like a parent, Justin, that's keeping me from getting into social media. And I try to get into it. It says, do you really want to do this? Listen to me. And then I click on it. I have to wait 24 seconds for it to be able to actually open up. Then it makes me go through another page. I have to go through 3 filters to be able to get back into my social media where it's basically going, dumbass, don't do this, right? Okay. But see, that's a delete something that I don't need, right? And there's a lot of stuff that you can look at. So do I delegate it? Do I delete it? Or do I just
Hi,
simply,
good morning.
okay, I'm glad you're ready. Or number 3, do I do it later? Is it something that I just do a little bit later? Okay. Not during my work hours, not during my work time. Does that make total sense, guys? And so, like, you just got to get in the habit of saying, here's my time, delegate it, right? Or there could be some things that's just a do it now because it matches. Does that make sense? This matches my hourly. I need to do it right now. Yeah, let's jump in. Or I need to do it later, or I just need to delete it altogether. When you can get into that habit, guys, right, of just in the moment making those decisions, and keep in mind, I know we're a little bit over, but I'll leave you with this last thought. Just like with anything, the more you flex that muscle, the quicker the muscle memory becomes, the twitch fiber becomes. At first, it's going to take time where you just go, oh, wait a second. Okay, I'm about to commit. And what is this? Is this a delegated? Is it a do it now? Is it a delete it? Or is it a do it later? Oh man. But eventually you get to the point where you're Steph Curry, not having to think about shooting the shot. You just do it automatically, right? And you start making better decisions. It typically takes about 30 or 45 days of just this process of awareness. So does this help, guys, as you move into like this whole decision-making process? Yes. So critical. I don't care if you're going for 100,000, 1 million, or $10 million. This is the conversation I always have with them because you've constantly got to be leveling up. Now, on our next Evergreen call in 2 weeks, okay, or in 4 weeks, I'll give you the 4 phases of your day and how to manage those effectively, okay? But this right now is going to be a couple of weeks of you guys really being aware of where your time is going, okay? Now, if you want a bonus assignment, take a week and keep track of what you're doing on the every 30-minute, half hour, and then compare it to your hourly, guys. That's an eye opener right there, where you just write it down. Anyone ever done a time and motion study like that, where you keep track of it? You write down every 30 minutes. Do it for a day, Kristen. Don't worry about a week. Just do it for a day and compare it to your hourly, and you'll see why it is that you're not earning the money that you want to. Because the more time you spend in activities that are below your pay grade, then the more it pulls down your goal of income, period. Okay? Nazar, anything that you want to say, baby?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that we can look at what we can save by not doing certain things, right? We're like, hey, I'm not going to do that because that's not a money-making activity. But then if you flip that, because you can't save yourself into money, right? Like you can save money, that's great, but you got to make money. And so every single hour that we spend doing money-making activities, I know it's hard because we don't get that check at the end of the day or at the end of the week. We're not salaried employees. And so it's really hard sometimes when we're doing the activities to say, hey, I worked 8 hours or I did 4 hours of money-making activity, and therefore that's $2,000 or whatever that number is. We don't have that because it's not a check that's tangible. So you have to be willing to like say, hey, I'm going to do this. And in my head, I acknowledge that I'm going to be making this money, but it might not be for a month or a week or 2 weeks. You might
or
not
90 days, so.
Right. Same with working out, losing weight, all that stuff. Right? It doesn't, you don't say, well, I'm going to forego that dessert today, and tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be 2 pounds lighter. Just not how it works.
Yeah.
But if you're disciplined enough and you're willing to acknowledge that your hourly wage or your hourly rate, reduce the things that are not making you money and focus on the ones that are, that's when you're golden. That's when you get your results that you want.
Totally. And you know what, Nazar, one last thing too, man, I want to piggyback on something you said and just sort of knocked it in my head, is it's not just about engaging in more money making activities. Do you know what I'm doing on the weekends with that time that I'm saving from doing laundry? I'm on the trails running. I'm feeding my soul. I'm doing the shit that I love. You know what I mean? So it is, which by the way, makes me more money because I'm a happier person. I'm a more energetic person. So remember, the purpose, as I teach you guys this whole pathway to 7 figures or above or adding 7 figures, you'll hear me say this again and again. The purpose of a 7 figure business is not the money. The purpose of the 7 figure business is to fund your 7 figure life. Health, vitality, nutrition, relationship, spirituality, etc., man. So just keep that in mind as well too. So it isn't just about more money making activity, it's about more life giving activity as well too. I love you guys. I appreciate you. So excited about this. I'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Have fun with this. Be ready to report what you've done from this, because remember, none of this shit matters if you don't do anything with it. Okay, so kick ass. Have a great 2 weeks. I'll see you guys then. Peace, guys.
So much, Bill.
Thank you.
All right, next week, you guys, we will have Jason Pantana in the house. And so it's going to be Jason Pantana 1 week, Bill Pipes the other week, Jason Pantana, Bill Pipes. Jason Pantana is going to be all about social media and how to continue to, grow our brand that way. And then Bill Pipes is more, kick you in your butt and get you to actually do the work. So super pumped. Also know that those that are a part of 5 will have this as a recording that you have. Anyone that's not part of 5 can come on live and participate. They just won't get the recording. So anyway, thank you so much, you guys. Talk to you guys next week.